Apple just held its big iPhone event, introducing the iPhone 16 and 16 Pro, Apple Watch Series 10, new AirPods 4 with noise cancellation, new software features like visual intelligence, and a ton more. I'm going to recap everything and share some details you didn't hear during the event. Let's start with the iPhone 16. The base model iPhone 16 is going to get Apple Intelligence this year. Apple announced that will be coming next month in October in a software update. Not only will it get Apple Intelligence, but there's a new camera control on the side underneath the sleep button, and that's also coming to the Pro models. We'll get to that in a second. And it's powered by the new A18 chip, which makes it possible to have that Apple Intelligence. Apple also changed the ink cartridge in their printer because now we get more saturated colors. This is the iPhone 16 lineup, comes in 5 different colors, and you'll see a new arrangement of the cameras actually enables spatial video and spatial photography. And when it comes to photography, let's take a look at camera control. This is a capacitive and haptic button that's going to be on the side of iPhone 16 and 16 Pro, and it will allow for all kinds of actions like quickly launching the camera app, tap to start recording, and you'll be able to lightly double tap and swipe over to different controls like exposure, focus, and more. This is going to give you way more control over capturing videos and photos quickly on all the iPhone models. Plus, the iPhone 16 is also getting an action button like the iPhone 15 Pro before it. So you can program the action button to do one thing, like run a shortcut, and you still have the camera control button to launch the camera specifically. The iPhone 16 is also getting an upgraded camera. It still has a 48 megapixel main lens, but Apple's now calling it the Fusion camera, which allows for a 2x optical zoom, and it has an entire separate image pipeline. That basically means if you want to zoom in with iPhone 16, going to that 2x is actually going to get you a better picture than just pinching and zooming. Also, the ultra-wide camera has been improved and will include autofocus. That's going to make it great for wide-angle photos with a subject and macro photography. Also, when you capture video on iPhone 16 and 16 Pro, there's going to be a new audio mix mode where you can focus on voices or have it cinematic. More on that when we get to the iPhone 16 Pro. There is a larger battery in the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, and hidden in a little bento box slide in the event, both iPhone 16 and 16 Pro are getting Wi-Fi 7, which should get you slightly faster Wi-Fi speeds. Well, that all depends on your wireless router and setup, which I have an entire video on Wi-Fi 7. You can check it out above. Bottom line, iPhone 16 is getting Apple Intelligence, camera upgrades, action button, and the camera capture button. Pretty big upgrade from the iPhone 15 last year. Price is still $799. You can pre-order Friday, September 30th, and it's coming out September 20th. But even bigger upgrades are actually coming to the iPhone 16 Pro. We still have the titanium materials, although slightly different color, polished sides, and we have a new desert titanium color. I'll be honest, I'm probably going to go with this one. Not only has Apple made the borders thinner on the 16 Pro model specifically, but that means we also get a larger display. It's actually 6.3 inches on the iPhone 16 Pro and 6.9 inches on the Pro Max. Now that does mean the physical phone is getting larger as well. If we look at this comparison chart, this was the height and width of the 15 Pro Max last year. The width only changes slightly at 0.06 instead of 0.02, but the height is definitely more, 6.42 inches over 6.29. Most of that display increase is coming from the smaller bezels, but it is a physically larger device. That also means with the new camera controls button, any cases you might have for the previous Pro models are definitely not going to fit. And be mindful of any accessories that were perfectly sized to the 15 Pro and Pro Max. These new phones are bigger, so they're not going to fit. The iPhone 16 Pro, of course, is also getting Apple Intelligence, as is the 15 Pro and Pro Max, last year's model, but the new phones are powered by an A18 Pro chip, 16-core neural engine, and 6-core GPU. That's basically one more GPU core than the iPhone 16 this year. But the iPhone 16 Pro is actually getting big camera upgrades, one of the biggest being 4K 120 frames per second Dolby Vision video. Previously, you could only capture slow-mo video at 1080p, so now you can capture faster slow-mo video even in ProRes formats, and Apple said you can record to external SSDs. Now, if you subscribe to the channel, which I highly recommend you do, I've done a lot of testing with external SSDs and filming directly from iPhone 15 Pro Max to those, and with 4K 120, that's going to be a lot of data to transfer over USB-C. So I'll be doing some testing to let you know which devices can actually record directly to an external SSD, so get subscribed. The iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max also get the new camera control button, and Apple said that later this year, the camera control will be able to do a 2-stage shutter where you can lock focus with a half press or a light press, and then actually reframe the shot and then take the photo with a full press. Apple did not say this was coming to the regular iPhone 16, so we'll have to see when that launches later this year. The iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max also have a new 48 megapixel Fusion camera, again an entirely different pipeline for those 2x photos taken with the 48 megapixel, and Apple is saying the sensor reads data 4 times faster. Apple's also upgrading the ultra-wide camera to 48 megapixels on the Pro and Pro Max and adding autofocus to that lens. And that 5x tetraprism telephoto lens, which was just on the Pro Max size last year, both the 16 Pro and Pro Max are getting that 5x tetraprism lens. Apple also said the 16 Pro and Pro Max are going to have 4 studio quality mics, so when you're recording video, it will capture both the subjects and even some background and room noise. Then you can go into that audio mix feature, and then if you choose that cinematic option, it will focus on the speakers in frame, but if someone speaks out of the frame, it will use spatial audio to actually include those outside sounds and voices. I can't wait to play around with this. I think it's going to be an awesome feature, basically allowing you to film cinematic 4K video with spatial audio on an iPhone 16 Pro or Pro Max. Pretty wild. Oh, notably, Apple did away with fine woven cases this year. There's only the clear and silicone cases from Apple, and they said there is a sapphire crystal camera capture button in the case with a conductive layer. This way you can use all those camera controls through the case. I'll be very interested to see what third-party case makers do with this, whether they try a cutout, which didn't really work last year with the action button, or if they will do this conductive layer capacitive button on their case. The iPhone 16 Pro starts at $1,000 and the Pro Max at $1,200. You can pre-order this Friday, September 13th, and those will be available September 20th. Next, Apple actually started the event with the Apple Watch Series 10, a thinner design and an even larger display, larger even than the Apple Watch Ultra display by the actual screen size, but in a very sleek case. Honestly, it looks really good. Apple's calling it a wide-angle OLED display. It's over 40% brighter than the previous models, again thinner and lighter, and there are new aluminum finishes, including a jet black polished finish, reminiscent of that iPhone 7 in jet black. You can now play music and podcasts right out of the speaker of the Apple Watch. And there's a new metal back, which has a new charging coil where you can charge the battery up to 80% in just 30 minutes. I'll be curious how that works with Qi 2 and current fast Apple Watch chargers, if you actually need to buy new chargers, or if this faster charging works with what you have now. So again, subscribe, I'll be covering that right here. And instead of stainless steel, Apple has now gone to a polished titanium for the higher-end Apple Watches. Comes in natural, gold, and slate gray for that polished titanium. While the aluminum starts at just $399, those titaniums go for $700. And the case sizes have been upgraded to 42 and 46. So if you want to go for that larger size in the polished titanium, you're looking at $750, which is just $50 away from the Apple Watch Ultra. These new Series 10 Apple Watches do have a new chip, the S10, and there's now sleep apnea tracking as a part of Apple Watch. We'll actually measure breathing disturbances using the accelerometer in the Apple Watch, and you'll get a report when there's increasing disturbances with data you can take to your doctor. The Apple Watch Series 10 also gets a new depth gauge and water temperature sensor, which was exclusively on the Apple Watch Ultra in previous models. And there's a new first-party Apple-made Tides app for Apple Watch. Apple also announced a new color for the Apple Watch Ultra 2. It's the new black satin color, and it also has a new Milanese loop. You can actually get it in black and natural colors. Looks really nice. I got a natural one to see how it matches with my current Apple Watch Ultra 2. And both Apple Watch Series 10 and the new colors in Apple Watch Ultra 2 are available to pre-order right now. You can go to Apple's website or the Apple Store app to pre-order, but they also deliver September 20th, same day as the iPhone and AirPods, which were the final updates from this event. Tim Cook said they were bringing significant updates to the entire AirPods lineup.
This year, we have significant updates across the entire lineup.
Yeah, we're going to get to that statement in just a second. These new AirPods 4 have a new acoustic architecture, come with personalized spatial audio. They're powered by the newer H2 chip, comes with a very compact case, USB-C or Qi charging for the AirPods 4 case. And there's also a built-in speaker so you can find this case through the Find My app. Now, interestingly, there's actually 2 versions of these AirPods 4, both with noise cancellation and without. So you can choose just to get the AirPods 4 regular for $129 or get AirPods 4 with active noise cancellation for $179. They seem to be the same AirPods except for that ANC on those more expensive models. And yes, I did get a pair to try out, so you'll be seeing a review of those soon. AirPods Pro 2 are actually just getting new features, things like hearing protection, which will be on by default, a built-in hearing test, and clinical-grade over-the-counter hearing aid feature. Now, all of these features are actually coming to current AirPods Pro 2 models as well. So if you have those, this will be in a software update later this year. There's no new hardware in regards to AirPods Pro 2. But let's go back to that line. Significant upgrades to the entire AirPods lineup. AirPods Pro 2, no new hardware, so there's nothing new to buy now. AirPods Max, they were updated, but we basically just got new colors and a USB-C connector, which is nice, but they still cost $550, still a full $100 more expensive than the new Sonos Ace headphones. And while the new colors look nice and USB-C is good to have, let's go over to the tech specs, because one of the biggest omissions of the AirPods Max is they're still using the older chip. And unfortunately, even this quote-unquote updated AirPods Max is still using that older Apple H1 chip. And don't get me wrong, AirPods Max still has great noise cancellation and transparency mode and personalized spatial audio, but that conversation awareness feature that you see in AirPods 4, AirPods Pro 2, that's a part of the H2 chip. So after all these many years of AirPods Max not being updated, we should have at least seen the H2 chip. So if you really just want a pair of AirPods Max with USB-C and maybe a different color, that's available to you now, but that's really the only change. Nothing internal upgraded, still the old H1 chip. I'll be honest, I won't be upgrading. Overall, big updates, especially to the camera systems on iPhone 16 and 16 Pro. I'm excited to try that new camera controls button, and the action button coming to the iPhone 16 means a whole new group of people can try shortcuts with the action button, which, if you've never seen my shortcuts videos, you can check this one out right up here, where I go through great options to program that action button to running shortcuts. And again, I'll be reviewing the iPhone 16 Pro and AirPods 4 right here on the channel, so subscribe and hit that like button. And if you want to see my review of those Sonos Ace headphones and how they compare to AirPods Max, I literally did a head-to-head, you can check out that video right up here. If you have any questions on the Apple event or any of the products announced, leave comments below this video. If you want to hear even more in-depth coverage on the Apple event, go subscribe to my tech podcast with Jason A10, Primary Technology. I'll link it down in the show notes, and we're going to be doing a live recap talking even more about this event in depth. You can watch that live or catch the recording over on that channel as well. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.